Hi everyone, welcome to the virtual amicus, and I'm Jay Lodha. So today's topic for discussion would be on how to crack the Solicitor's Examination conducted by the Bombay Incorporated Law Society in Mumbai, Maharashtra. So what we've done is today we've kept a very special Q&A session on cracking the Solicitor's Examination, which is conducted by the society. And just to give you all a brief introduction, this examination is a very prestigious examination, but then it is very important for the viewers who are watching to understand the difference between a solicitor and a regular legal practitioner or a counsel before a high court of the state. Now, where is this examination held, or who conducts this examination? If and there's an applicant who wants to study or write this examination, where does he get the material from? Where does he get all the important updates and dates with respect to the examination? What are the centers? Where are they located? Is it only conducted in the state of Maharashtra? And what happens when one clears the solicitor's examination? What role does he have to play or perform, and how different is it from a regular legal practitioner or a lawyer? So today we decided to seek assistance from an advocate and a solicitor of Bombay High Court. We have with us Miss Ananya Gupta. And just to give you all a brief introduction about today's amicus, Miss Ananya Gupta is currently an associate with Tatva Legal in Mumbai. And prior to that, she worked with Amarchand Mangaldas and particularly with Shardul Amarchand Mangaldas. This was back in 2018 to 19. And prior to that, she'd signed her articles at Crawford Bailey and Company in Mumbai. So thank you so much, Miss Ananya Gupta, for taking our time. And I'm so sorry, but to inform you that we ruined your Saturday evening. You could have had better plans of celebrating, because this is perhaps the only day that you get from your busy schedule. So anything that you wish to say before we start with our Q&A session?
No, thanks a lot, Jai. And I think what you're doing is amazing. And in fact, in one of my responses, I'm going to definitely mention that all people who are appearing for these exams should subscribe to your channel because your channel is really informative. And I'm very happy you're doing it. It's a wonderful platform for students and professionals alike. So, yes.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gupta, there for all the kind words, and really means a lot coming from you. So let's quickly start with our segment. If you're ready, shall we proceed?
Yes.
So question number one, if you could give us, all the viewers who are watching a brief introduction on what exactly is a solicitor examination all about. If you can talk about its inception, a little bit of its history, and which organization is conducting it, because as we mentioned, it's the Bombay Incorporated Law Society. So is there any other society, or is this just the Bombay Incorporated Law Society that conducts this examination? Over to you.
So, so currently, it's only the Bombay Incorporated Law Society that is conducting these exams. Earlier, before 1976, there were separate categories of practitioners. There were attorneys or solicitors, and then there were counsels. Solicitors used to do a lot of these back end work, like I won't say back end exactly, but solicitors, as the word suggests, is soliciting a client. That's where the word has come from. So the main role of a solicitor was to connect the client to the counsel who used to argue. So the role of a solicitor before 1976 was to prepare the brief for a matter, and to prepare the brief for a matter for the counsel to argue, basically. And the solicitor used to be a bridge between the client and the counsel. That was one role of a solicitor. Then solicitors over the years have played a very important role in the real estate field, where solicitors are drafting a lot of agreements, a lot of high stake property acquisitions, and a lot of high stake property matters in Maharashtra and especially in Bombay are all handled by solicitor firms, because clients have this inherent trust that my agreement has been seen by a solicitor, so it's all fine. So, in the real estate segment, a role of a solicitor becomes particularly significant. Otherwise, after 1976, under the Advocates Act, it's all the same. There's just one class of legal practitioner, and that's an advocate enrolled in the bar council. So right now, as we speak, the distinction does not exist. However, Bombay Incorporated Law Society continues to exist, continues to conduct examinations. It's been there since the 1800s. It's a very old law society. It continues to conduct examinations. Very brilliant partners of law firms are members of the society, and yeah, so it continues. The legacy continues. The examinations continue. And Bombay Incorporated Law Society, not many know it, plays a very important role in representing the body of advocates as well. So, if there is any representation that needs to be made to the Bar Council or to the Ministry or to the High Court judges, Bombay Incorporated Law Society is doing a lot of active work there. So, yes, and a lot of judges also have been members of the Bombay Incorporated Law Society, and a lot of advocates, a lot of senior counsels in Supreme Court and in the Bombay High Court have been members of the Bombay Incorporated Law Society. And of course, goes without saying, law firm partners are also members of the Bombay Incorporated Law Society. So, yes, it is still very relevant, though the distinction between an advocate and a solicitor, or a counsel and a solicitor, has gone legally. But yes, the society is still very relevant, and the society is still conducting examinations. In Calcutta, there used to be an incorporated law society which is no longer there, but in Bombay, it's pretty much there, and it's active and it's thriving.
All right. So to add to that, Ms. Gupta, now if I've got all of this right, a society is conducting an examination for a particular position of or a class of legal practitioners that is not even recognized by the Advocates Act. How does it work? Where does a solicitor get its recognition and powers from if it is not
So,
defined in the law?
yes, I'll tell you something very interesting about the solicitor exams, where they say that if I clear the Bombay Incorporated Law Society examinations, and if I have 7 years of standing at the bar, then I get exempted from appearing from advocates on record examinations, which is conducted by the Supreme Court. And the recognition right now, though legally it is not recognized as a separate class of legal practitioners, but clients still have that comfort when a solicitor is reviewing their matters or their documents and all of that. So it's still very prestigious, given that a very big number of law firm partners are members of the society. So that's prestige still continues. And also, when you study for the exam, you automatically train yourself to, I think, to read, to be very updated about stuff. So that way, it is still very relevant.
All right. So according to you, it's all about the prestige and the practice that has been going on for years now, and that is how it got its recognition. So thank you so much
Right.
there, Sam, for such elaborate responses. Now coming to our next question, what exactly is the role of a job of a solicitor? Now, what is he required to do, and how different is his role or her role in comparison to a regular legal practitioner or a lawyer or a counsel?
So right now it's all the same. Right now even councils are drafting briefs, council are interacting with clients. Though if you're designated as a senior counsel, then you can't file your wakalatnama. But an advocate can do everything. Also, one thing very interesting, to be a solicitor, you need to be an advocate. So that is very important to have your sanad. Otherwise, the society will not admit you to its member role. So it's very important to be enrolled as an advocate to be a solicitor also. So right now there is, legally speaking, no distinction, but yes, otherwise, typically, if you are in a solicitor firm, they do a lot of real estate work, a lot of litigation work. So litigation, real estate are still dominated by solicitors. Corporate law practice, not that much, but yes, even in corporate law, there are solicitors who are partners of big corporate law firms. That is also there. In house, not so much, because as I said, you have to be an advocate to be a solicitor. But in law, in litigation and real estate, the role is huge, because in litigation and real estate, they are still preparing briefs, and they are briefing the counsel, and connecting the counsel to the client. So that practice has stayed. Though legally speaking, there's no distinction, but if you see the field, it's still that segregation between somebody preparing a brief and somebody arguing the matter is still maintained in Bombay at least. So that is where the relevance is still there. And also, one more thing, the syllabus is structured in such a way so as to make you equipped to face complex situations in real life. And you are so to become a solicitor, you have to do your articleship for 3 years. So you have 3 years of work experience before you become a solicitor. So that continuity of work, that teaches you a lot. So though legally there is no difference, but practically still people value a solicitor's opinion and value get comfort in getting a final sign off from a solicitor.
All right, moving ahead now for the next question. So, what is the basic eligibility criteria for appearing or writing the solicitor's examination?
Right. So first, the most basic criteria is you should have finished the first year of the 3 years course or the third year of the 5 year course. Only then you become eligible to only then you become eligible to sign your articles. Then you have an article clerkship period of 3 years, but that is never 3 years complete because 6 months, the last 6 months of the article clerkship examination is for study. It's actually for study leaves, and so it's basically 2.5 year with the solicitor firm, and you can only sign your articles with a solicitor who's a partner in that firm. That is very important. Yeah, so I am a solicitor. Since I'm not a partner in a firm, I cannot take articles under me and under the present rules. So a solicitor who's a partner can only take articles. Each solicitor can take 4 articles, and a lot of these firms rotate. So basically, they'll give you 1 year of litigation work, 1 year of real estate work, and 1 year of corporate work. So a lot of firms prepare you like that. But the main, most basic criteria is an article clerkship for 3 years in a solicitor firm with a solicitor partner.
So, when you say that the solicitor has to be a partner or working in the capacity of that of a partner, does it necessarily mean that it has to be an equity partner or the co-founder of the founder, or it could be any kind of a partner?
It could be a salaried partner also. It could be a non-equity salaried partner as long as the person is named as a partner of the firm.
The roles he has to be a partner.
Sorry?
In the roles he has to be a partner. His role has to be
Yes,
that of a partner.
yes, yes,
All
yes.
right, all
It
right.
could be a salaried partner or equity partner, that doesn't matter.
That doesn't. Okay, okay. Thank you so much there for throwing light and elaborating on that. Now, moving ahead, if you could elaborate or throw some light on the exact structure of the examination. And when I talk about structure, I refer to the number of papers that a student or the applicant is required to write, or what all subjects are covered, and what exactly is the examination pattern like.
So that is actually quite interesting because the benchmark is very high. So there are 6 papers. You have to score 360 out of 600. So that means you have to get a 60% to become to clear the exams. So you have to score 60%. That is one, and then you have to give 3 papers in one attempt. So minimum number of papers you can give in your first attempt, sorry, is actually 3. So you can split your papers. You can either give all 6 papers in one attempt. You can give 4-2, 5-1, or 3-3. That is a combination you can give. But in your first attempt, you have to sit for 3 papers. If you score 50% in one paper, then you are exempted. So, for example, if I've scored 15 each paper, but I have not been able to get a score of 360, then papers where I've scored 50, I can set aside and reappear for the exam and try to get a better score. So that way it is difficult, and secondly, very few people pass in a year. Like at least 100 people sit for these exams, and in the first attempt only 2 people pass. Like in the subsequent attempts a lot of people pass, but in the first attempt only 2 people pass. And unless it's an exceptional year and only 4 5 people have passed, so clearing these exams is very difficult, and the exams are assessed by high court judges, by partners of law firms, and by really senior professionals. So the checking and everything is on the tougher side. So that is broadly the structure. If you want, I can go. I have downloaded the PDF of of the syllabus. I can go through each subject, and I can actually show this syllabus on the screen.
Well, if you can share your screen, nothing like it, because I've enabled your screen sharing. If it's
Sure.
possible for you,
Yes. I'll share. Can you see my screen?
perfect, yeah,
So this
perfect.
is the syllabus, which is April 2019 onwards, and these are the papers. So your first paper is practice and procedure. If you want, I can also roughly go over what books to use for each subject. Will that be conducive?
Yes, of course, please.
Ah, perfect. So, firstly for all the subjects, the first thing that everybody should read is bare acts of each and every act which is there, which is a part of the syllabus. Bare acts are a must. Bare acts and case laws are a must. So for CPC, I really like Takwani. And for constitution, as you see, article 32 and certain articles of the constitution are a part of the syllabus. I refer to DD Basu. Pleadings I took from my firm. Whatever pleadings were prepared by my firm, I refer to that. For specific relief act, it was a bare act. I didn't refer much to commentary. I think it's a very big misconception that people have, that you should refer to commentaries. That it's there is no hard and fast rule, because what the society is looking for is very strong fundamentals. So as long as your fundamentals are strong, I don't think there's a need to refer to commentary or anything of that sort. Then there is company law. And company law, what is interesting is when I gave the exam, company law and SEBI were in one paper, and now they have divided it. So now it's company law, and then it's corporate law and taxation law. Taxation law in my time used to be 100 mark paper, and now they've made it a 50 mark paper. So for company law, I really recommend the Taxman Bear Act, which is a very good book for company law. And I would also recommend one more book, Kapoor and Dhamija, which is also a taxman publication. So that is also very interesting. For insolvency and bankruptcy, please only stick to bare acts. And because the syllabus is very limited for insolvency and bankruptcy, it's only corporate insolvency which is covered. And also keep on reading case laws. That is very important. At least insolvency and bankruptcy is one field which is developed by case laws also. Then for all these SEBI laws that you are seeing, I would really recommend that you read the bare provisions. Don't go into commentary and all of that. For tax, I would recommend there's this one book, Manoharan, which is very good for tax, which simplifies core tax concepts very well. So I would recommend Manoharan for income tax. Then there is conveyancing, and conveyancing can be monstrous if you're not a real estate practitioner. Like, I'm a corporate law practitioner, so conveyancing was a tough subject for me. But having said that, for transfer of property, I would really recommend Jhabwala, which is a book which Mumbai University students also use, but it's very well written, so I would recommend that. I would recommend the Jhabwala and the Bear Act. For precedents, there are specific precedents which are a part of the syllabus. I would recommend referring to Devekar and Tijoriwala for precedents. for RERA, Bear Act. Bear Act, and it's always useful to be up to speed on case laws. For Registration Act, Bear Act. For Succession Act, Bear Act. And for Stamp Act, obviously Bear Act. So yeah, that is conveyancing, and this is another difficult subject considering the number of acts which are there. So for all these acts, I would really recommend Bear Act. But for arbitration and conciliation, for Maharashtra Public Trust Act, for Cooperative Societies Act, and for Limitation Act, please refer to barracks, please refer to case laws. So, my primary tip to study for these exams would be refer to barracks, refer to case laws, refer to commentaries only if you want to understand understand the depths of it. Otherwise, a commentary is not really productive, because you only have 6 months to prepare for six subjects if you're appearing for it in the first go. So commentary should be referred to only if there is a difficulty in understanding a concept, but basically it should be barracks and case laws, and your preparation should actually start from day one of your article clerkship, and you should always ask your supervisor to give you work which will help you in these exams. And also one more tip that really helped me in my examination is past year papers. So Bombay Incorporated Law Society has a website where all the past year papers are there, and those past year papers are very interesting to look at, because they have covered uh, each and every act so well, and they kind of give you an idea of what the society is expecting in terms of your knowledge. So when you refer to these past year papers, you get a hang of what the society may ask, or what the society is expecting from the article clerks. So yes, I would really recommend doing past year papers properly. That is important. And yeah, it is not that difficult if you are well prepared in advance, and I really don't recommend getting into depth of the subjects, because the idea of being a solicitor is to have an overall view of key important commercial topics. So that is how I look at it.
Thank you so much there, Ms. Gupta. I hope this presentation of yours will definitely help the presentation that you showed. Now, coming to our next question, if you could throw some light on the preparation tips, the techniques that would help the applicants this examination.
So my first preparation tip is to rely on past year papers. Like really go through past 10 attempts or past 12 attempts to get a hang of what kind of questions the society is asking. That is my tip number one. My second tip is to read barracks properly, because outside of the barracks nothing will be asked, because the law is primarily concentrated on in barracks. So read barracks properly. That would be my second tip. My third tip would be to really chill and not get nervous, because what happens is people get crazy nervous and then they forget what they have done, and it can get very messy. So my third tip would be to really prepare in advance. Start preparing from the day you sign your articles. Make sure you get a lot of practical experience with respect to the subjects that are there in the syllabus. Like ask your mentor to give you work, or give you drafting work, because that is where I got stuck, because I'm not a real estate practitioner. So drafting and conveyancing was very difficult for me. And ask, do a bit of litigation work, do a bit of everything, so you have a fair practical knowledge. So these papers are very application based. They are not interested in your knowledge of law, they are more interested in your application of your knowledge of law. So that is very important. So to have that approach right from day one is very important. And also maintain a case law diary. I have seen all solicitors have a case law diary. So whenever they come across a case law, they write in the diary. So maintain a database of case laws. Also, one more thing that really helped me, I had a study buddy with me. So I had somebody, a very dear friend and an ex-colleague, right, who gave the exams with me. So I used to bounce off ideas with her. I used to do research with her. So it was a very interesting exercise. And I had a friend also who really helped me revise concepts. And I had people to talk to with respect to these exams. So reach out to society members, reach out to your fellow colleagues who are giving the exam. It always helps to have somebody giving the exams with you. And yeah, I would really mention three people who helped me, four people who helped me get through this. One is Devanshi Nanavati, one is Niyati Hakani, one is Naina, and one is Prabhav. So all these people were my support system during the exam. Of course, apart from my parents, who have practically sacrificed a lot so that I could, appear for the exams and do well. So yeah, I mean, it always helps to have a support system. So make sure your support system is in place. So yeah, that is how that is what helped me. And again, the time is very limited. Syllabus is very huge. I am very don't overdo it. Like study hard, but don't overstudy, because then there is no time basically to do to remember. Also, human being, yeah, the brain also has its limitations, so don't overdo it, but and have fun with it. I really value those 6 months of study leave that I had. I used to exercise, I used to take care of myself, I used to study, I read so much. And yes, one more thing, subscribe to updates, like for example Manupatra, SCC, or have updates to case laws and all. So that is very important, to be very updated, to keep on reading blogs, at least for subjects like arbitration and all, where the law is constantly changing. I would recommend insolvency, arbitration, subjects like that. I would really recommend subscribing to blogs. And of course, watch your channel. That is one thing I'm going to tell everybody, because you are covering a lot of important topics which are relevant for the exam. For example, I've seen a couple of videos on arbitration and all of that, which will really help.
Yes, she's trying to cover as many topics as we can because there are so many subjects and it's impossible to, humanly impossible to cover all. But then thank you so much there. Now, moving ahead. Uh, so when and where is the examination held and when are the dates notified? Can an applicant, subscribe to, how does one know about the dates?
So the Bombay Incorporated Law Society has become very particular in notifying the dates on the website. So website is your first point, and then the Bombay Incorporated Law Society has a lot of WhatsApp groups also for article clerks and for solicitors. So dates get notified there also. So it's basically the website or the WhatsApp groups which will tell you the dates. And there is only one center for these exams, and that's Government Law College. There's no other, unfortunately there's no other center anywhere in India for these exams. So it's GLC Bombay, and the time is very standard. It's 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. That the society has never changed. Of course, because of the pandemic they had to cancel the exams, but I think November, I remember seeing the November announcement on the website. So the website and WhatsApp groups.
Basically, GLC is
Very.
the only center that we've got for solicitors exam. Wow. That's
Yes.
alma mater. Brilliant.
That is.
Yeah. So now moving ahead, it is said that a solicitor in Maharashtra need not write the advocate on record examination because the solicitor de facto automatically becomes an AO at the moment he or she qualifies the solicitor's examination, conducted by, of course, the Bombay Incorporated Law Society. To what extent is it true? If you could elaborate and throw some light.
Jai, I was lured into these exams by somebody who had told me the exact same thing, that, if you are a solicitor, then you become an advocate on record. That is partly true, but not fully true. The Supreme Court rules of 2013 says that you are exempt from exams and you're exempt from training. So I believe AOR requires 5 years of training, and then thereafter you have to give your exams. So you're exempt from that only after 7 years of bar, 7 years of standing at the bar, not before 7 years of standing at the bar. So once you become a solicitor, you have to wait for some time before you can file that petition to become an advocate on record. So, for example, I've graduated in 2014, so I have to wait. I cleared my exams in 2017, so I have to wait till 2021 before I can file my petition. So that is the rule, and of course, other requirements of AOR apply. Like you have to uh, have a chamber within a certain radius of the Supreme Court. You have to have a registered clerk. So all those other requirements still apply. The exemption is only with respect to training and exam, and that exemption kicks in only after 7 years at the bar. So yeah, there is an exemption, but it's not exactly automatic. You still have to file a petition to get admitted on the Supreme Court bar.
All right. So far, how have your experiences been as a solicitor, and what all lessons have you learned over the years as a solicitor?
So my experience honestly has been pretty good as a solicitor, because I do corporate law. So whenever there is a diligence or whenever there is drafting, I have been trained in a certain way to spot issues, to to have an overall view. So for example, a corporate lawyer is not typically to expected to have knowledge about, say, arbitration, because litigation teams usually handle arbitration matters. But because I've studied for these exams, because I have a basic idea of how this works, so drafting an arbitration clause in a contract becomes very easy for me. So in that sense, it is very important. Also, when we do very big transactions, there is real estate diligence, which is very important in these transactions. So even I don't have to fully depend on a real estate team. I can also understand and look into matters myself, because I have that training. Even for litigation and all of that, though I don't appear in court and I don't do litigation work, but sometimes that basic knowledge of CPC, constitution, that really helps me while I have to advise a client. So when I'm doing advisory work, that knowledge really helps me. So more than the qualification, it's the knowledge that is extremely useful. And the biggest lesson that I have learned is keep on reading. That the process of learning and the process of reading never really stops even after you become a solicitor. So keep reading is a lesson that I have learned from the entire process, and to be up to speed with what's happening.
Fantastic. So basically, if you're a voracious reader, you have an outstanding chance of clearing the examination. Very
Yes.
important to, this reading habit, takes a long way. And question number 9, solicitors examinations during the pandemic. Do you see any changes that have taken place, or that are, that will be taken, or does it continue to be the same? Has the pandemic changed the course of these examinations that are conducted by the Bombay Incorporated Law Society? Have they gone virtual, or we still have lawyers, writing these examinations physically,
So,
writing?
because of this pandemic and the second wave and all of that has happened, I believe two attempts have been cancelled. Like this May attempt, this May 2021 attempt, and the November attempt has been cancelled from what I understand. I mean, I think four attempts have been cancelled because of the pandemic, and I think November 2021 there will be an attempt, and March 2022 there will be an attempt. So people who are due to give these past attempts will now give the subsequent attempts. Unfortunately, right now, Bombay Incorporated Law Society has not made these exams virtual. because the law society comprises of members who are, in full-time jobs and all of that. So setting up a virtual place might not be a very easy thing to do for the society, is what I understand. But currently it's physical, and because of the pandemic, exams have been cancelled. But very soon, with everything opening up in Maharashtra, I'm very optimistic that exams will be held in November this year and March next year.
So let's keep our fingers crossed and let's all be hopeful that examinations do happen and all those who are interested, want to appear, who aspire to write the solicitor's examination, who dream of becoming a solicitor, their dreams do come true. And in case if we have missed out on any of the crucial questions, if you have something else to say that we haven't covered so far, we'll
No,
conclude.
I just have one thing to say, like really just this one thing to say. Just don't worry. Like a lot of people get very paranoid and then they worry and then they, get all nervous. Just don't do that, and have a great time reading. If you like reading the law, I think it's a wonderful opportunity to read the law, which is why I recommend this examination to everybody who is in Bombay. To it's a lovely opportunity to take those 6 months off and read law which might not be your practice area. So for example, my practice area is not litigation or real estate or arbitration and general law. I am basically focused on corporate law, but because of these exams I got to read a lot of law and a lot of case law, for which I'm very grateful to the society for having this exam. And it is great to attend Bombay Incorporated Law Society get-togethers and meetups and parties. You get to meet a lot of people, and yeah, that was one motivation for me to become a solicitor. Just one of the motivations. Yeah, but yeah, it's a fabulous experience, and it's a matter of prestige in Bombay, and it's a matter of great pride to be in the same society as a lot of judges and a lot of counsels and a lot of law firm partners who are doing so well in life. So it's a matter of great pride also. And I would really say that one advice that really helped me was that I should not give up. And yeah, that is very important. Like there are also one more thing I forgot to tell you, that there are only 6 attempts that you can give. Yeah, there's a limit on the number of attempts
There's a
that you
limit
can
to the number of
give
attempts,
for.
which is six, right?
Yes,
So,
6.
to all the viewers who are watching, a very important point made by the Micahs for today's session. Uh, the limit to the number of attempts is six, if I've got it right.
Yeah,
So
that is true.
broadly,
So
if you
that is,
sum it all up, I think it's this examination. The pattern is such that it is meant, uh, if not only, but then broadly for lawyers who are from Maharashtra, right? The whole setup is such that it really helps them a lot, because after all, it is conducted in a
that's
society based in Bombay.
That's true. That's true. And also, Bombay is such an important financial and a commercial center in India. Having a very thorough knowledge of the law, of these laws especially, which is a part of the syllabus, really helps in your practice in Bombay, because a lot of big companies are in Bombay, a lot of multinationals are in Bombay, and it really helps. And currently, as the university system stands, the syllabus may not be adequate to equip you for the practical world. So, to cover that gap, I think these exams are very good. So they kind of cover the gap between your theoretical knowledge and the practical application of law. So from that perspective, it's a very interesting exam to give.
All right, then. Thank you so much, Miss Ananya Gupta. There you go. That was our amicus for today's session. Miss Ananya Gupta, advocate and solicitor, Bombay High Court. Thank you so much for taking our time. Your valuable insights, will definitely and immensely benefit all our viewers who are watching this, the aspirants who wish to write this examination. who are watching this, the law students, everybody. I hope all your queries have been solved, all your fundamentals or concepts have been cleared. And obviously, our email is mentioned on the channel. So, all those who have any of the doubts or any of the fundamentals or questions, do feel free to write to us. We'll be more than happy to forward the same to our amicus for today's session. So, stay tuned. Next
Thank you, Jay,
episode.
for having me.
The pleasure is all ours. Thank you so much for taking out time for our segment on the solicitor's examination. And we hope to see you again very soon.
Yes, sure. And everybody, please like and subscribe. I mean, especially if you're giving these exams, please just blindly like and subscribe to his channels and do watch his videos because they're really informative. That is one tip. That should be the most important tip actually.
Thank you so much. I hope all the viewers are watching, and you can obviously keep your eyes open before you like, subscribe, and share it, because I don't know where you will end up sharing it if you close your eyes. So thank you, Ms. Ananya Gupta, once again. Thank you to all the viewers. Stay tuned. Next episode is on its way. It's goodbye for now. Thank you.